welcome to Rugby 100 Club. We're with Lady Liberty, and they have a fundraiser coming up that you guys all need to know about. Help them out. Alan, tell us about it.
Yeah, so this coming April, well, I'll back up just a little bit. We're looking at going on a trip for our Lady Liberty team, something that we've been wanting to do for a while, but just haven't had the numbers to be able to go on a big international type of tour with our club. And still numbers are low throughout the league, as far as being able to put like 15 teams together. So we've been playing tennis for the last few years. And what popped up was this international tournament in Hawaii. And it's a tennis tournament. So we're like, oh, that's what we do. Yeah. So it's like, sweet. So we can go on a tour, play international teams, and not leave the States. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to worry about visas or anything like that. It's a little cheaper because we're not flying out of country. And we get to play tennis. And from what we understand, there's going to be teams from like New Zealand and Australia and who else? I know there's going to be teams locally from Hawaii there, but
I would guess Japan too. No,
possibly.
Because I know that a lot of people will come from Japan and fly over to Hawaii because the green fees to play golf are so high in Japan that it's cheaper to fly to Hawaii.
Yeah, I think in Japan, isn't it like if you get a hole in one, you have to pay other people because you did so well?
I don't know.
I'm not a golf guy, but I'm just.
It sounds like a great frat point.
Sure, that's what it is. But
I like to play sports with my hands on the balls.
Yeah. So but yeah, as far as the tournament goes, we heard about this tournament, and it's close to Waikiki, so it's in Honolulu, and it's going to be great. We're super excited about it because this will be the first trip we've been able to go on where we're not driving to,
right.
Or it's not within a drive radius. We've gone to tournament in Montana, Spokane, Idaho, Sacramento, but those are all drive trips, right?
Yes, they were.
They were all drive trips. Yeah, blast for that.
Yes, they
we won't even get started there. But no, everything has been like a drive. So we've been have to plan it out, everything, and we got a great tour director with Liberty Rugby Club, and so she's definitely helped organize it and get things straight. And we got some other helpers, putting the tour together. So we got 15 of our players, our ladies going, and 5 coaches going, and hopefully a whole bunch of other parents and fans going to watch.
I was gonna say, I want to be a chaperone.
Semi-spring break, right?
Yeah, so
Tour
dumb
direct?
person that's never left this rock.
Yeah.
What? So, I don't even know what the difference between the islands are. So, which island is this?
Oahu.
The big
Okay,
island.
which means this is on the
Not
big
the big
island,
island, but
The next biggest island?
like the second
never
biggest
been there.
island.
the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
island
you're
is
right,
like
yeah.
Kona. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's like where the major city is, the capital
Gotcha.
city.
Okay.
So it's the major international airport
You
is
have
in
to fly
is
over
in
water.
Oahu. Yeah, you're gonna fly over
You
water.
get the window
a lot.
seats.
Yeah, it's just going to be licking it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it takes a lot.
I'm scared of
to
heights
do.
and water, so it's gonna be fun.
We'll put you on the ladder and shove you in.
There you go.
It takes a
with the
lot.
baggage.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might fit with the baggage. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll put you in there.
Right.
I can sleep anywhere. That's
Yeah,
fine.
no claustrophobic. Yeah. Nobody asked.
It takes a lot to plan a tour like this, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big credit to our tour team that's putting it all together. Love them to death. They've been able to work out some good housing for us. That's cheap, and we're not staying in Motel 6 down the alleyway or anything
Right.
like that. We're staying in
Good
a nice
quality
place with
for
a private
for-
beach, but it's
At
affordable.
Motel 7, it'll be much better.
Motel 8.5.
Yeah.
But no,
Get the lights
it's going
on.
to be awesome. The trip's going to be awesome, and like I said, I don't know how we'll do, but we're going to go and play the best we can and have a blast.
Mhm.
But to do something like this, I mean, honestly, the price tag for taking a team like to this is like $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So we're looking. We're trying to call businesses, and we have a little fundraising packet for corporate sponsorships. So we'll be able to put the team or that not team company logo on our jerseys and our training shirts and in our tour packet. Because I do a tour packet, and because that's what you do. And just gonna have a great time. But we need to. We're fundraising right now to bring that cost down because our club, just like a lot of clubs around the area, we come from huge array of backgrounds. We got players that writing a check, a family writing a check for this is not a big deal. Where others, is like, hey, I need to write practice because I can't get to practice, or they can't get to practice because they got to watch their brother because both parents are working, right? And whatever it takes to get them involved in rugby, that's what we want to do. And so we look for fundraising. Fundraising supports a lot of our clubs, supports Liberty Rugby as a whole also.
And I want to interject, for those that are considering, look into your company and see if they will match, double, or triple your contribution, because a lot of companies will.
Yes. Yeah. That's how we get some of our money is the company I work for matches hours. So for every volunteer hour I do for the club, they give us X amount of dollars per hour. And so it's a little bit, but it helps. And then when you're as involved in the club as I am, then it adds up. So,
That's awesome.
But yeah, definitely.
It's exciting.
Definitely, companies, Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing,
Google,
all the big companies like that, you give a donation to the club and they'll match or more your donation. So that definitely helps.
Yeah.
That's always been the thing with Liberty too, is don't let the fact that you yourself might not have money, don't let that be the obstacle to playing.
Right.
We will find a way. And that's how I stayed with rugby too when I became the CIPP person, to be nice to myself. They're like, don't let paperwork be the reason why someone can't play.
Right.
Make someone else do that. So the fact that he does so much of this stuff behind the scenes and he's still at practice, it's so different than when I was coaching in like college, because I did everything. I was a student rep. I was also running a men's team at the same time. So to be able to say, I don't have to do paperwork and I can just say, ask that dude over there, or ask him, and they do, and he does such a good job. It makes coaching really easy, except for the practice part. That's the hard part. But,
that's been a Liberty thing for a long time. Is like, don't let money be the thing that keeps you from playing rugby. Yeah. If it's a family thing that's keeping you, that's family. Family's always first. School. You're a student athlete. Student comes first. Right. Get your grades right. But don't let money be the thing, because there's fundraisers, there's car washes, there's Christmas wreaths we just got done doing.
Holiday wreaths.
So many different fundraisers we try to throw out there. When my older son went on his first tour, they went to New Zealand. So Liberty Boys went to New Zealand, and he went on a tour. He paid for his entire trip by family, family donating money. Yeah. Because they said, "What do you want for Christmas?" And he said, "I want to go to New Zealand. My club's going to New Zealand. I want to go." Yeah. So Christmas money, birthday money, that's all he asked for.
What year was that? I'm curious.
That was
13, right?
13, I think. Yeah. 13.
That's what. Yeah, because I have the little pin on my.
That makes sense.
Yeah, 13.
I
Yeah.
think it's 2013.
Yes.
He went on 2 tours.
Yeah, he went to that one, and then
before.
And 14 was his last year, because I remember he had his.
They went 2 years in a row that year, didn't they?
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah,
so they went 2 years in a row.
Before that.
Yeah, because he went to
England.
They went to UK. So
Then you say New Zealand, I figure it's Pakistani with Triton High School.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I remember when I
there's
came
a
to
well-established
16, Jen and I, bless her heart for dealing with us, we were thrown into it, and it was great.
Yeah.
We hosted about 6 people from
Yeah.
Trident and made lifelong bonds. And then the funny thing, so they came up in I want to say this time, January.
Yeah.
No,
They
I'm
came up
sorry.
September 3rd, 2018.
Yeah.
Thank you, because it was before Christmas, because they were all going shopping. I remember that.
That's right.
man, it was 2016, and the only reason I clarify that is because my son graduated in 17, and for his graduation present, we bought him a ticket, kicked his butt out of America, and sent him down there.
Yeah.
And he couch surfed for 3.5 weeks, and he had the
Yep.
time of his life.
Yeah.
He practiced with the team. He came back with confidence that was like, oh my gosh, we do all these same drills at Kent, and I'm not intimidated by this anymore. And just like you said earlier about the whole like seeing the players develop.
Yeah.
My God, that was just it. It was like, oh my gosh, if I for that price tag to send them down there, if every kid came back like that, it's like coaches would be like breaking their wallets trying to send them down there because they came back with so much confidence. It was unreal.
Oh, yeah.
So
We had for
So
years, Liberty and Trident High School down in Whakatane, New Zealand,
Yeah.
have had a partnership, just
Yeah.
just a brotherhood from across the water, because they've always had this, and it goes way back to more the beginnings
Salati
of
family,
Liberty.
right?
Yeah,
yeah, because Martin,
All
that
the bushies too.
Yes.
Bush.
my age, he's from Whakatane, and he was on the first tour
Yeah.
over to do it, and he had 2 boys come through. So 3
Yeah.
years later, so 2019, they came through again, and I was working the system a little bit, of course, because my son was out and I was volunteering. So helping you guys, I was like, so instead of 3 days, I get 6. So I had all the guys in the house for 6 days. It was awesome.
No, it's great, that kind of partnership. And I know from talking with the boys that come up, the boys from New Zealand that come up, and even some of the boys from England and Ireland that came over, they know they're going on tour when they get to be a senior.
Yeah.
Back when they're freshmen or before they even start high school. So they start saving their money. And so when it's time for a tour, they're ready to go, and they have a fat wad of money to buy things, because things are cheaper here.
Yeah,
right.
And they shop.
Yeah, and they're like, "Can we go to the mall?"
They shop the whole time. Here, I'm like, man, I haven't even been with you but once. I'm tired of it.
Yeah. And that's the thing I want to start to get our girls in our club into, is like, we're going to start going on tours.
Yeah.
We're going to start doing this on a semi-regular basis. So when you first come into the club, you're a U15 player, start saving your money, because by the time you get to be a high school or in high school, whether it's, sophomore, junior, senior, you're probably going to go on a trip.
Yeah.
Right. So let's be ready for that.
Well, I remember talking to some of those moms, and they eventually wanted a girls team to come over if they came over again. They're like, we want girls to play over here too.
Yeah.
Do the whole family experience.
So we're going to go to this tournament, and I'm going to be networking.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
talking to this
Talking
team.
to
I'm talking to
teams.
this team. I've already, got a hook to a club, a possible club in Australia, and I'd love to make that our next trip if we could. If I get enough, if I can line up enough teams there, I'd like to make that happen.
So at this point in time, you've seen it up on your screen where you can scan me. It says it right there on the flyer, and please get them.
That would be wonderful. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
If it's a donation or if it's corporate sponsorship, I have paperwork I can send out for that too.
Or
Because
you
we
want a
love
kid
that.
to come play with us?
Yeah.
Oh, God, we want to give money, but we also want our daughter to play.
Yeah.
Bring them on.
Yeah,
Send them.
that would be a great experience. Even if they come out and they try it and they don't like it, that's okay. At least they tried it. That's the most important reality of that.
Yeah.
We've had a couple kids that, never played. They'll come to practice and be like, wow, it's just not for me. That's fine. Usually we know within 3 practices.
Yep.
So we'll tell the kids, hey, bring your friend, have them, 3 practices. That's all, right? We can get them through 3 practices. They're probably done.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
want that
Yeah.
because if they bring them to 3 practices, they get something out of my closet.
Exactly.
And
The
that
person
goes-
who brings
yeah.
them gets something
Or
on top of the person who
Yeah.
For rugby
closet.
It's
Yeah.
the other bedroom of
Yeah,
our
it's my
house.
whole
Yeah.
entire bedroom.
Right.
Yeah, it's just full.
Right.
Jerseys, jackets.
How often
anything you
how
want.
often do you tell everybody you're not a hoarder?
Oh,
Every day.
do I ever tell anybody that? I have
She's
a
not in
kid that
denial.
says I'm a hoarder.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I have that.
It's not in denial.
No. Oh, I have a total rugby hoarder.
Well, please help out Liberty Rugby, Lady Liberty, Liberty Rugby. We're going to talk one day,
Yeah.
and help them out with their tour over to Hawaii. Blaze, thank you.
Greatly
Appreciate it.
it. Yes, thank you.
And then, of course, go over and like and follow their page.
Mhm.
Keep up to date on when they're going to be playing so you can go out and root them on.
Always need fans.
Hound fans, it's time to hit the road. We are looking for 20 or more of the hardest Chicago fans. Join us as we take over New Orleans with an exclusive VIP travel package. Fly from Chicago to NOLA, stay in the heart of downtown New Orleans, enjoy non-stop pregame and postgame rugby. Secure your spot now at rugby100club.com. Let's go, Hounds! Help the Lady Liberty rugby team take on Hawaii in 2025. They're heading to the Hawaii International Tens Tournament this April, and they need your support. Donate, sponsor a player, or become an official tour sponsor today. Scan the QR code to learn more. Let's get them to the islands. Thank you.
Home and said, or after practice, I was driving her home. She said, "Hey, I think I want to play rugby." And I said, "Okay, well, I think we didn't have a girls team." And I said, "I think Kent has a team, so we can probably call the coach and get you in there." And she said, "No, Dad, we're a Liberty rugby family. I want to play Liberty rugby." I'm like, "Well, there's no team, so you're going to have to talk to the man in charge and see what to do." And so, Jeff Candler was Bobcat. He was in charge. And he was in charge. Yeah, he was in charge for a long time. So he's like, "Well, you can get me a list of 25 girls. And I'll make sure you have a coach and practice stuff and a place to play." And so that's what she did for the next few months, was gather a list of names. And one of the first people Bobcat called was this one here.
And that was a mistake. Well, kind of. No, I wasn't the
For
first
you
one.
or for him?
That's the first one
The
he
second one he called.
The first one he called, right? Or he called.
No, I was the second
Okay.
one, because what he did is he was going down his phone to call Shane Tangen, and he bypassed Shane, and the next number in his phone was my number. So we were co-coaching together to begin with.
Yeah.
He's no longer with us now, but still, yeah, because he accidentally overshot Shane's name. That's how I got involved,
Yeah.
by a Bobcat accident. Probably like the kids.
And I got looped into helping out with the team as a team manager and director of Lady Liberty, because they said, "Well, your kid wants to start this team, so we need some help. So you can help by managing." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I've been on the Liberty board ever since as director of Lady Liberty. And no, we've gone from that first year when it was like, "Yes, we have a team." We got there, and I think our first practice there were 12 girls. It was awesome. We had Shane and Shannon and a couple other coaches helping out, and then second practice we had 6. We're like, "What happens?" 12 to 6 in one day, right? And then the next practice we had 3. And like this, things are not they're not going the right way, but we kind of stabilized at 3, 3.5. One that kind of would show up at times, but those 3 girls stuck it out, and partnered up with Rainier, and we made it clear it was like, we don't want to be Rainier, nothing against Rainier, but we were trying to build a team for Liberty, so we want to be Liberty, but we want to play with you so we can get some playing time, and that worked out.
Well, the relationships are there.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Zippy and Andy, and them being thick as thieves, and everybody else that follows suit. That's what's so cool about our community is like, no, everybody knows each other. The truth is, most of us are going to be like, "No, come on, let's figure it out." Well, maybe you'll get a team together next year, but until then, come on.
Andy was a big help in the beginning, helping us to get playing time for our girls and supporting us for being Liberty. And
What year was that?
That was 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2014 was our first year playing Lady Liberty, and even though it was with under Rainier's umbrella, so our first pictures are in Rainier jerseys.
Yeah.
Right. But so we did one full fall season with Rainier and a second full fall season, and then summer sevens the next year was our first year wearing Liberty jerseys.
is correct. You
Yeah.
are wrong.
I don't know.
Young
I thought Lauren
Robert,
started her freshman year, which was my 7th grade year.
2014, you want to bet?
I thought she started her freshman year. I don't
No,
want to
she
bet
did
because I
not.
lose bets with you.
She started sophomore year for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
I
bad.
like that.
Yeah, but
Tough on me.
but after that, it was like, I mean, we started summer sevens with 7 girls. That was
Wow.
7, and they didn't care. You know, I don't think we won a single game that entire season, and they didn't care. They absolutely loved playing,
Mhm.
and that's all that mattered.
They just weren't used to playing a full game, even though it was only
Right.
7 minutes each half, as opposed because right here we got very little playing time because we only practiced one day a week with them, and then we did the other day with us at Liberty. So to play for 14 minutes, I think it was Lisa that was dying by the end, almost in tears, because they had just, but they did it.
Yeah.
We just like keep going, you can do it.
But it was great. And our first person to graduate was after that season, and she went off to play at USC.
Oh, cool.
So that was awesome. Jenny Z.
Jenny Z, yeah.
Yeah, so she went off to play at USC. So that was our first graduate that went off to play college.
I still have that T-shirt in my rugby ball.
that is.
Oh, yeah.
That
Then
is
we went,
wow.
we went from there and just kept building. You know, we kept getting more girls and more girls.
I just can't imagine if I kept just
Playing
telling
better.
them, okay, if it goes forward off your body, it's bad.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. We wouldn't tell them what a knock-on was, what a forward pass was. I just said, it's bad.
This is
Yeah,
bad.
it's got an
This
A
is
in the
good,
middle,
this
it's got
is
a B at the beginning and a D at the end. What is that? They're like, it's just bad. I'm like, that's great.
It's just bad.
I like that.
We made it very simple because all we wanted to do was get them to like it.
Mhm.
And now our job is to get them to love it and then to move on and already have a foundation. That's our main thing.
And that's kind of been our mantra for years. It's like winning and losing is totally separate. Sure, wins are great, but our goal is not to. We want to win every single game. Our goal is every single player. We want them to love rugby. We want them to fall in love with rugby. That's all there is to it. Because if they do that and they enjoy what they're doing, they're going to play better. And
Then they get to go for us.
yeah, and then they can take over for us. And playing better gets them onto better opportunities. Select teams, college teams, adult, higher level adult teams, and opportunities that they may have never had before.
Not only that, but developing their who they are is a really big thing because these high level teams, they don't want somebody that's I'm the show, it's me, and we've had that conversation before, and I think we've had it too. But it's developing them into like good humans first, and then the colleges see that on top of, hey, you're also a good athlete, but you work well with others and you're kind and you go out of your way to do things. And I think that's really important as well.
Well, it really changed in 2023. And the biggest thing is when we stopped saying my team and you guys. It was our team and us. And once they all started saying that, it flipped a switch. And they realized everything they do affects everybody together. And I've always told it, you can win a game without the score being you having the biggest number. And I always tell them too, if you played your hardest and you still lost the game by the score, that's my fault. Because I didn't teach you well enough to be prepared for that game. If you don't win in that game and you didn't try your hardest, then that's on you. But I will take full responsibility if they played their brains out and we didn't win. Well, guess what? That's totally my fault as a coach. I didn't prepare them well enough. And it's amazing how that takes so much stress off of them when they realize, oh, that's not necessarily my fault. No, it's my fault. I'll take responsibility.
We've gone to tournaments and played in tournaments out of state, and it would come back and like people are like, "Well, how'd you do?" And I was like, "We did great." Well, how many did you win? I'm like, yeah, we won a couple, but we had a great time. We had a great experience.
Right.
That's the thing. Even if you lose a game, even if you get whooped on, there's something you learned from that game. And we every Tuesday after a game, it's like, okay, what's the best thing you feel you did to help your team, and what's something you can improve on? Not what's the worst thing you did, what's something you did that you can improve on.
Right, because at this age, it's really developing them to be better humans.
And we do that as coaches too. A couple years ago, we really started focusing on it's okay to not be okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfectly 100% on your A game at every practice. That also goes for the coaches, because sometimes we have a day where we can't be there because we're adults, and sometimes we have adult mouths, and those mouths shouldn't always be around teenage girls. So knowing that I might say something that I would have said to one of my adult teams or college teams, I'm like, hey, I can't be there today. I can't do it. And I did that a couple of years ago, and Bobcat called. He goes, I was scared. I said, why? He said, because that's the first time you've ever said you were not okay, but asked for help.
Oh.
I said, because I trust my team now. I trust all the coaches that are there to be able to do it better than I can do it. So yeah, there was no question that I could not be there because I was not mentally enough to be there that day for them. And I knew all of these guys could just take it over just like that. But a couple years ago, no, because we never knew what was going to be there. 3 or 4 years ago, we never knew what we were going to get. But now, yeah, I could not be there, and I don't think the girls would always sit. They'd be like, "Thank God, coach is there today."
We have, we're at a point now where we have a great group of coaches running our girls team. We got these two, which are great. We have Jeremy, my older son, who's now come back into the rugby world to help out as coach.
Wonderful.
And he's been with us for a couple of years now. And Tiffany Candler, Bobcat's oldest daughter, who played at Central, and she played pretty high level college rugby and select rugby, and now she's coming back to help out also. And so we have an amazing group of coaches, and I love it.
It's not even the knowledge level of the coaches; it's the ability to challenge each other. And we see this from some of the players too, which I do appreciate it at times. But the ability to challenge each other and kind of like figure out why we're doing this thing and why it's going to make us better, and maybe calling each other out on it and being like, hey, that doesn't work, and working through it as a group instead of just an individual.
We have 2 coaches in training, I call them, that they graduated 2 years ago. They're like, hey, Bob and I, we want to help out, we want to stay involved. Awesome. Be registered, be ready, Yeah, so let's, hopefully get them more and more involved, and like Shannon said, eventually torches can be passed.
Yeah, and up the reins, so to speak. Yeah, because we're not going to live forever. And at some point, we're not as polished as we once were. And these guys are going to be calling us out like, will you just go away?
Well, we just can't hold the tackling bag because it's going to hurt if they tackle us.
Right.
Yeah.
Done that once or twice.
Well, they know if they can run over a coach in a tackling drill, like knock them over, they get something out of my rugby closet. And I don't know.
And Jeremy and I fight really hard to not let them knock us over.
Yeah, because I have like 300 items still in my rugby closet, but I still give stuff out regularly. Or even something stupid. Whoever collects the most cones at practice, I'll give you something out of my closet. You just never know. There'll be some random stupid reason just to make sure that some random girl that probably would never get something, like one of our newer girls, did not expect her in this church. It's called the champagne glass. It's like and you work on footwork. And I'm watching it. I'm like, no way. The week before, she was limping, and she's never played a sport. And I'm watching her, and I said, this is not what I think it is. And so the next practice, I actually called her out. She had no idea it was her. And I said, I've never in my life seen anybody do footwork as amazing as I saw at last practice. And so I had them all stand up. And of course, the older girl's like, yeah, you know it's you. And I'm like, it's you. And she looked at me like, me? I said, yeah, I've never seen that before. It was amazing. Never played a sport.
We hear girls all the time that have never played a sport.
Yeah.
Or, and it doesn't matter. We'll teach you rugby. And so eventually, whether you've played other sports or not, you need to learn rugby, so we'll teach you rugby.
And what a healthy bond it creates. I mean, everybody needs it. To me, I've got the whole gender role, but equality is equality. So it's one of these where it's like, us guys are a little bit, at least my generation, more familiar with it because we go fist to cup after having words across, that we didn't get along. Go fist to cup, and you're like, hey, you want to have a beer? And it's kind of the same logic in rugby in general. So, like, the ladies get to figure out, oh, yeah, we can battle each other and then still be buddies afterwards. This doesn't have to be you're going to, have real estate in my head for life.
Well, that's why we do our Croc Nation bag.
Yeah.
Super simple. It's just a bag. I went and got, they love Crocs apparently. Because I said, asking for a coach. Like, yes, we love them. So I went on every website and got the cheapest little gibbets, those little things you put on your Crocs. I learned what those were from them, trust me.
Gibbets.
So I have thousands of them. I even made some Lady Liberty ones. So, and I put them in a bag. And if they see any other player doing something amazing, it can be at practice. It can be at a Seawolves game, at a Seattle Rugby game, at a Mud Hens game, anywhere. One of the boys, doesn't matter. They're allowed to go into that bag at any time, get one out. They can't look. They just have to pull it out, but they have to go over to that person and tell them why they're giving it to them. So that's the equivalent for me of the high schoolers being able to give the opposition a beer. We can't do that, but we have gibbets all over the place. They would ask, can we give them out now when we're in Montana? They gave them out in Idaho. They give them out everywhere. They even gave Rucky one because he was working so hard on the sideline. They're like, can we give him one? I said, of course you can. They absolutely love it.
Too.
They have headlights. The girls that won awards last year, they got the speakers. The one girl said, I'm not sure if I'm more excited about the speaker or my award. I'm like, probably the stupid Croc speaker. And I saw hundreds in that bag.
But it's things like that. It's the little things that get them excited.
Yeah.
Anything to get them excited about playing, about doing well. And that's one of those things, and as you said, they can give them to anybody. Just can't give them to one of their coaches. That's the stipulation. But you can give them to anybody else that's playing that they recognize did a good job, but they have to tell them why they're getting it.
Well, they did ask for a caveat. They said, and I finally said, okay, you can give them to referees only if they did a good job. No. But that's a side note. At least they give that one to a referee, so that's good.
I would love to hear their name, but I don't want to name drop when we talk about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll keep us all in good graces, Yeah.
That's
Don't
right.
back time to tick anybody off. The season's just about to start.
That's
man.
I appreciate their time.
Man, yeah.
Everybody.
It does really.
job that you can do.
It's a thankless job, and I would
It
never
really
want to do it,
is,
so I
and,
appreciate that they're doing it.
They're out there doing the very best they can in all sincerity, just like the players. Some days are better than others, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and it takes a certain personality to, one, study the rules the way they do, and two, to have the guts to call you out on your crap when you're doing things wrong and be like, and not making it personal. Because sometimes the players take it so personal. I remember this one time we were out we were doing sevens. It was 2017. We were up north we were at Silverdale. And Silverdale High School, I think it was.
Okay.
And one of the girls on a team that wasn't yours. Make sure I make that real quick. Was boxing. Was just fist to cut. Got kicked out, red carded, all that jazz. And it's funny because her boyfriend now plays pro. But I think you guys could probably figure it out. But we'll talk about it later if you haven't already. But fun, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch everybody grow up too, because she's not that same girl anymore. You know what I mean? But what she was, she's caught up in that moment, like everybody does when they get on that pitch, and it's like, she just had her moment where we lost her shit.
There's people that do me from 91. They're like, what do you mean you coach high school girls? They're like, what? You? And I'm like, yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Right. I'm calmer now.
I'm like, I don't do all the dumb things. Well, I still do some of the dumb things, but I tone it down a little bit.
Right.
Like,
place and time.
Like, you tone it down? I said, that's right. I said, got new assistant coaches that can do all the dumb stuff.
You set the example,
There you go.
All the dumb stuff myself.
Simon, you do a lot of dumb stuff.
Oh, I say stupid things.
Fair.
We had a court.
You got to match your other,
We had court because I say
We had kangaroo court because they always clean the shed or sweep the shed every practice, every game. They clean up to make sure everything is at our cars. We don't do that. And they left one there. The reason why we know it was our rucking shield is because I put bacon duct tape on the handle, so I know they're ours. And they left one, and I went and got a fake evidence bag and everything. We had court. We had his brother was in robes as the judge. It was my old Wonder Woman costume, part of it from rugby.
I love that he rocked it.
Yeah, but he was the you were the prosecutor.
I wasn't supposed to be. You were supposed to be.
That's what you thought. But yeah, and he gets
there's not
lost.
enough players in the
He
field
gets
either.
lost in the
Yeah.
words, and so I can attack on just sentence misstructure, so to speak. So every time he would say something, and the girl's like, "We're gonna win," and then of course I asked to have it thrown out because the judge wasn't nice and he sided with his brother and he shouldn't have.
That's who you know.
Because he lost the case. But I also
Real life situations, kids. Get over it.
But I also
Yep.
told them if we lose, I will do the punishment. I didn't tell the judge or Simon that. So when they found out I had to do the punishment, which was snakes, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, you're going to do them?" I said, "Yeah." So I told the girls, if we lose, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute. You only halfway lost, so you only have to do this." I'm like, "All right," but I did all 3 snakes just like I promised.
Mhm.
And then I had to run to the bathroom real quick. Yeah, that's a lot of running for a 54-year-old woman that doesn't run much anymore.
Simon, what's been the best part about being a coach?
Just being able to get that connection with the kiddos and seeing them grow. And so seeing the small things that you do and whether it's rugby related or personal life related and seeing them grow from it. You don't see it super often, personal life, and it's what they choose to share with you, but just like small suggestions at practice for like hey, try when you're going into contact like this, step like this instead, and then you see it in the game. And the big thing for me is seeing them do it and realizing they actually listened and then realizing it actually worked.
Yeah.
So
Like the light bulb went off.
Yeah, and just seeing the not just what I say either. Seeing when one of the other coaches says something to them and they do it and it works for them. And then the best part is when they come back to you after and like, "Did you see it? Did you see that I did that?" And they're like, "And it worked." And I'm like, "Yeah, I told you it was going to work, but thanks for listening."
And then
Yeah.
you lied to them and said you saw it when you really did. But
Hey, they don't need to know that.
Sometimes.
The eyes in the back of my head, right?
They don't need to know that.
or you say it to them a million times, and then another coach says the exact same thing, the exact same way, word for word. And they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I get it now."
No, it's like a teacher in school. It's the
Yeah.
same, like math teachers I think of all the time, right?
Yeah.
One can explain it one way, and you're just like, and then somebody else says the same words with different tone, and you're like, "Oh, got it."
Oh, not even different tone for rugby. It's exactly the same. And usually it's Jeremy and I. We're looking at each other going,
WTF.
"Okay."
Yeah.
But, Simon actually didn't have a choice but to come back and coach for Lady Liberty. Do you remember why that is, Simon?
I might have wrote a letter when I was graduating.
From
Shannon gave me a gift, and I said, in my thank you letter, I said, "Don't worry, I'm coming back to coach when I'm done with college." And so now I'm here.
And I
It's
showed that.
appreciated.
You didn't
And
even
I-
wait until you were done
Yeah.
with college. You barely graduated high school,
Yeah,
and you went to a coaching clinic.
But
I really
did
stepped
show
myself
the
up for
girls
that
that
one.
They couldn't believe, one, that I kept it. I'm like, "You keep all the rugby stuff." But yeah, I showed it to the girls this year. They
Oh, I
say,
love
"Look, he made a promise, and look, he kept it."
Mm-hmm.
Just to show them that when you keep a rugby promise, that's a promise you need to keep.
So now I got a follow-up question on that since you said it. Okay, so this is right after high school, you said, Pops, right? So, this is before you went on to, university.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, did it help teach you the game a little better? Because you took
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you just start looking at it from a different viewpoint. And so it helps playing through college and playing at high levels. It really helps the understanding of the game. But trying to teach that same thing to somebody else is like, now I have to think about it more to make it make sense versus I know I do this thing and it works. Now I have to use the words and tell them how to do it and look at the other possible outcomes versus I know what I'm doing, and I'm hoping I know what they're going to do. Now it's looking at all the different pieces and trying to piece it together the right way.
That analyzing it
Yeah.
all. Huh?
And that's the best part about you being a teacher also is
Mhm.
that you realize kids have so many different learning styles.
Yep.
Yeah.
I learn in all 7 of them. So he can explain something and then something's just this much different than it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand it now because I learned it a different way. And he does that very well. He can either tell them how to do it, or sometimes he shows them how to do it,
Mhm.
or sometimes they just watch him do it and they get it. So we get so many different viewpoints on how they can learn how to play rugby because all of our coaches have strengths and they have more than one strength. My weakness is I'm old and my bones hurt. So there's not a lot that I could do. I could do about 2 scrums a year and that's about it. But yeah, watching these things and they're like, okay, wait a minute. So, and they can watch and then they start coaching themselves.
Mhm.
So if he would have done this, would that have opened this to do this?
Mhm.
It's like, what do you think? And they're like, I think so. And I'm like, yes, that is the correct answer.
What I love is we open up practice with 15 minutes or 15 minutes of touch ish, and then we close with 15 minutes, and like Jeremy and I, and when we have guest coaches and stuff, and Tip sometimes will play, but just the small things of like we'll run it with them, and they see us do something, and then they're like, oh hey, I want to try that, and then again same thing, you see them do it later, and you're like, see, you got mad at me earlier when we were playing touch, and I did this thing, and you're like, yeah, but you're a 25-year-old man. Like, but I'm trying to get you to learn, right? I want you to see these things done because I can tell you all I want, but when you see it work, you're gonna learn.
Yeah. Then you're into it. Now you want to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just like when we were doing 7s at Pat Ryan.
Oh yeah, that was
So
awesome.
we were at Pat Ryan. We were just practicing. I think that was when we were doing Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And these guys are at the other end of the field. They're like, hey, can we jump in with you guys? Sure. So I made up a game real quick called 10-minute tens. So they have 5 minutes where they have to run the entire time. Even when they're waiting for a kickoff, they have to be running. If you're not running, you have to do something else. It's like quick sit-ups or whatever. So 5 minutes, blow the whistle, and then 5 minutes. So it's constant running that entire time. Score a try, you have to run back. So they played, and a couple of the girls put some moves on some of these guys too, and they worked. And they're like, that was so awesome. I didn't tell them who those guys were either because they didn't know. So I didn't really say anything, and they're like, hey, can we come back again, Coach? We're like, sure. So the guys left. I brought the girls over. I said, do you know who you were playing? No, I said, you just played against the Seawolves.
Yeah.
They had no idea that the Seawolves,
There's about 3 guys
Yeah.
over there that were Seawolves players that were just getting together for some extra training and conditioning, and we happened to be there. They're like, hey, can we hop in? I knew who they were. So it was like,
I'm curious. Do you remember to this day who they were?
I know Inaputi was one of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What's this recent?
So
before me.
3 years ago.
was it pre-COVID?
Okay.
Pre-COVID or?
Now that's a fun fact
Yes.
that a lot of people
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
would have been pre-COVID.
Just post COVID.
Might have been
Yeah.
19.
So
Yeah.
19. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know the story with Ina specifically
Yeah.
and how he loves Liberty and Valley.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't discredit, Seattle and all that jazz that they present because, there's levels.
He's awesome.
But yeah, he's a giver, and he is, and then like he's not a talker like the rest of us.
No.
He's a man that means what he says, and he says very few
He's genuine
things.
right here.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
a wonderful guy.
And what I love is when he's out at touch and stuff. He's easily the best one there when we're there, but he doesn't act like that. He
No.
doesn't act like that. He'll get a breakaway if you give it to him. But if you get a breakaway, he'll chase you down and mess with you, but he won't stop. Right? He lets you get your glory. He doesn't. He could easily stop us and be like, "Well, I'm a big Seawolf guy,"
Right.
but he's really there for the development.
Like I said, the girls had no idea any of those guys were Seawolves because we didn't tell them. We knew, but we're like, yeah, sure, go ahead and jump in.
Because they probably would have backed out.
Mhm.
They would have.
or
They would have
feel
freaked out.
about
Yeah, they would have been nervous.
Yeah.
So, but afterwards, they were so like red in the face. They're like, we just see. I said, you just played against them, and I said, a couple of you juked them, and those were legit jukes. They weren't like,
Right.
oh, oops, this girl juked me. It was like, no, she put a move and it worked.
Yeah.
So even though it was high school girls playing against them, they got to learn a couple things also.
Mhm.
So I always tell people, if you don't learn something at every practice or every game you watch, you need to hang it up. I don't care if you're a coach, player, referee, you need to hang it up.
What is that term? Leaving a broken clock right twice a day.
That's right. I mean, I learned when I refed years ago. People don't know that. I was a ref for many years, broke my hand, so I couldn't play. And so in Bellingham, I was a ref for a long time.
That's why we get all the annoying rule clarifications at practice.
That's right.
It's part of being a coach.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to go.
Seawolf fans! It's time to show your team pride. Rugby 100 Club has another exclusive VIP travel package to New Orleans on April 25th through April 28th. We need a minimum of 20 of the most die-hard Seattle fans. Join us as we take over New Orleans with an exclusive VIP travel package. What are you waiting for? Secure your spot now at rugby100club.com.
Under Rugby 100 Club. This time around, we're going to talk about gizmos and challenge coins. Some people that have been fans of just the professional level have no concept of what other parts of rugby participate in, with the shenanigans and the fun that is had by all. So, yeah, that's a perfect one. You want to go up to the camera and kind of shove it in the camera real quick, and I'll explain it. So these are gizmos. These are random ones that have been given to me. All right, and then if you can grab some challenge coins.
Yeah, gizmos don't have to be anything spectacular. It's like
You know,
dollar store. You can buy a little pack of plastic dinosaurs, or army men, or animal, farm animals, or whatever.
these are a little bit more fancier, to say the least.
Yes.
These are challenge coins, and you look into getting challenge coins made, they definitely tell the difference between the dollar store purchase and challenge coin.
I like that green one.
I like that green one. I came from the poker tournament.
Yeah, I did. I got from your poker tournament. I stole it.
I like the rep one because I don't have
You
that.
borrowed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Scott Wright is like, dude, take whatever you want. I'm like, all right.
Okay, I was going to do it anyways. But hey,
Yeah, thanks for letting me.
thanks for the permission.
Thanks for telling me I can keep the one I already put in my pocket.
Well, no, it's totally one of those like, you mind if I keep this? He's like, yeah, okay.
He's gonna come after you later.
Yeah, he's
I'll
like,
take
take
your
the ball
reference.
too.
I never said that.
Yeah, I never said that. Take your Mountain Dew.
I know where it is.
Anyways, and then of course Shannon's got one that's pretty important. Why don't you tell us about that?
So this is number 24 from Seattle. No, don't make me stand up.
I was going to stand up for you.
Oh, here, yeah, go ahead. So that is the stuff people don't see, and that's number 24 for Seattle Rugby. I was nominated this year, and Kevin Flynn told me I had to take a picture, so instead I thought I'd bring it up here and do this because I don't like taking pictures of myself. So they gave these out to people, all these types of people that do things that nobody knows about rugby. There's so many things that people do that nobody has any idea, like disciplinary committees, helping teams go on tour, membership. Don't ever be the membership coordinator. You will if I die, but other than that, don't ever do it.
All the stuff going on behind the curtains.
Yes,
in rugby
everything like
makes
that.
things happen.
Those guys
Right
right there, that's them. And that's that. Their logo is on this little skinny orca guy. But yeah, it
And that
was
stands for the shit people don't see.
for high schoolers. It's the stuff people don't see. But yeah, I was so
When your
honored
mom and dad
This is
are
those four letter words we were
Yeah,
talking about
there you go.
earlier.
that he shocked me because I wasn't expecting it either. So of course I had to wait, just like I've done before. Cried a little bit because yes, I'm the biggest baby there ever is, and they know it. He knows it very well. Like that day we had 26, the picture of the 26 girls. I had to stop. It's still hard for me to talk about it. I just looked, and then two more came down the stairs. So anything rugby that happens that's just awesome, I just get overwhelmed. So even things like this, all these little things.
It's appreciated.
It's shocked to be someone who wasn't a great player but loved the sport, and to realize people still appreciate all those things you do, because lots of other places it's just I assume I'm supposed to do it. I thought that was my job, is to do everything I possibly can with rugby, but then we get people like these guys that take so much weight off your shoulders. It's amazing. I mean, you get to do the fun things. I get to be silly with the girls. Not very often, but on occasion, the two that we are putting into the coaches in training, they're like, "You mean we get to learn the adult stuff that you do?" I said, "Well, not all of it. Wait till you're 21. I'll tell you a couple other things." But you know,
Still on that note,
yes.
tell us about a Gizmo story. Or a challenge coin, your call.
Oh, a good Gizmo story. Well,
It doesn't even have to be good. You just have to draw a picture. And if you want to think about it.
oh no, I don't know. It's funny
Okay,
because
that's like, I'm going to get
So
you.
you got
a story, don't worry.
So
Yeah.
I'll give you just a
go
little.
for it.
little-
Break down. On the one.
So Gizmos are the thing. I said, showed you a couple and gave you a couple examples, but if you go on a trip, go on a tour, everybody gets a Gizmo, and that's your Gizmo for the trip. Anytime anybody on the trip says Gizmo check, you got to have your Gizmo, and if you don't, there's a punishment involved.
And you can be in the shower.
Yeah,
There's no excuse.
that's right.
Yeah,
Gizmo
figure it
check,
out.
I
you
put mine
have
in my
to have your
ponytail
Gizmo.
when I took a shower.
I was going to say most time with us it was coaches or captains could call it, or adults on
I
the
think
trip.
that's where I'd have to put it. Just saying, because I'm
Yeah.
not,
Yeah,
And just so you know,
Can't put it
Jeremy
in my
Dodd, if you're
ponytail.
ever watching this, whip out your Gizmo right now.
whip it out.
whip it good.
That's what Gizmo. That's the thing. Gizmo check. You got to have it at all times.
During the
Doesn't matter.
games, playing,
Yep, during the
everything.
games,
Yep.
absolutely.
I think our
Or
best
thought
And
one.
what is the repercussions if you do not have a
It
Gizmo?
depends on your club.
Yeah, we made that. We had to clean. So we did, like, when we left the place that we stayed in Spokane, which is very nice, big, huge log cabin, was the first time the girls ever did Gizmos. So we did Gizmo checks. We knew which ones would never remember them. So we made them do final cleaning after coaches looked at cleaning. So it's like, no, we didn't throw extra stuff down there, but there was like tons of little pieces of stuff on the floor. And I'm like,
You
Hey, you
build
have
one
to
and
do
you
it.
build one.
hey, you have to do that. She's like, why do I have to do it? I said, because you failed the Gizmo check. Sorry, get over it.
Yeah,
my,
you'll learn.
My
to-
favorite one,
Gizmo.
though, is still the one that I have because rugby players are notorious for leaving their stuff everywhere. I have, I don't know, 5 or 6 chairs, like foldable chairs, that I've just collected over the years at different rugby events. They're just in my shed. But kids leave jackets like nobody's business. And so I found a jacket. It fits me. Didn't think anything of it. I put it on, and there's a Gizmo in there. So whoever lost their black gorilla 2 years ago in Spokane, I have your jacket and your Gizmo. So I don't take it out of the jacket even when I wash it.
Oh,
It
I
stays
love
in there.
it.
Oh yeah, I've never taken it out.
As you get off to like adult college, Gizmo penalties can be much harsher and much more different. But at the high school level, we keep it a little more tame.
We didn't do
some fun
Gizmos, but we had a blast many years ago at Fools Fest when I was coaching up at Western. It was very difficult for us to find the grocery store in Spokane because it just wasn't anywhere near where we were. And of course, we didn't have any type of maps then. You looked at a Thomas guide. Google it if you don't know what that is.
Roadrunner if they didn't have a
Yeah,
Thomas guide. Small.
So we went into the store and they had hundreds of clothespins. So we bought them all. Gave them out to all the girls and said, the only job you have to do is get rid of all these. They have to be attached to somebody, but you have to do it so they don't know. So all night long, I've got all these under 20-year-old girls putting clothespins on everybody. Former U.S. Eagles are still playing for Seattle at that time. We're putting all these clothespins on them. They don't know it. Other people are watching us do it. Then they realize, oh, it's just a stupid game. And so they take them off other people. Some people have them all the way down to their feet. And one guy comes over, he's like, so, you going to tell me what these are for? I'm like, sure, I'll tell you later. He goes, it's later. I said, they're just a joke. They're for nothing. And I just walked away. Like, we had, 500 of those things.
Oh my.
They might have to come back because it's pretty harmless and fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun way to
Be
have
stupid.
shenanigans. And, yeah, be silly and
It's not inappropriate in any way, shape, or form. Everybody thought there was some kind of reward or something super secret about it. I'm like, no, I coach a bunch of idiots and we wanted to have fun. That's it. And that's all. But it ended up being so incredibly fun because about 2 hours into it, everybody was asking about it because nobody knew where it started. The next morning, the tournament director, he goes, who was responsible for all those god-awful clothespins? I just looked at him, I go, who do you think? And he goes, Should have
We,
known it was you.
we were on a Valley pub crawl, and I was like, how do you not have Gizmos for these characters? That is a perfect time.
Y'all show up at the first location. You go, hey, this is yours, and you write it down what they have, and every pub check it.
Gizmo check.
No, you just take a picture. It's so much easier because it stays on your phone. Just have them all stand up and take it. Just take a nice long shot.
You're like a smarty. Like,
Don't
Yeah.
give away all the secrets.
Well, see, it's boys are dum-dums and girls are smarties. Be a smarty, play like a girl.
the old Bobcat.
Okay.
Afraid, shake your hand. Manly handshake and a dum dum. So boys got dum dums.
And then I started the, be a smarty, play like a girl. So I give out smarties.
So Simon, your
Uh-huh.
turn.
I would say my favorite one actually was still in high school, and our international tour got canceled, so we ended up going to Yakima, and then we ended up going down to Oregon. And while we were in Yakima, the ref came up mid game, and keep in mind, there's only a couple of us that knew how serious Gizmos were, and ref came up and he was like, "Captain, I need to talk to you about some serious violations." He's like, "There's several of your players that have been doing this, and I just wanted to say that I've noticed that we need a Gizmo check." And me and like 3 other players all pulled him out of our socks, and everybody else was, "We were supposed to have that during our game." Yeah, and it was just the way the ref came about it. It was really funny. There was no real punishments on that. It was a tisk tisk. Hey, make sure at all times, when I say at all times, that's what I mean. But there was no punishments out of it on that.
It was
one.
the surprise
Oh, that
factor,
one.
probably, I'm assuming.
You got any adult version?
Yeah. we took a trip over to Scotland, and we had a couple kiddos that forgot their Gizmos a couple times, and they had to chug a stale beer bought from the store.
College trip.
College trip, yeah.
College
Kiddo,
college
yeah,
trip.
okay.
Sorry, I say kiddos now.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
teacher saying.
Clarification.
I say kiddos a lot.
because he's so old.
Yeah.
But we had a couple guys on the team that had to chug a stale beer, and maybe it wasn't very enjoyable.
No, can't imagine it would be.
Yeah.
Alan?
For it's slightly different than Gizmos, but one year we went down to Oregon, Portland, Oregon for Prez Fest, and on the way down we stopped in, I think it's Centralia. There's a dollar store there because we
The
go
land
out
of dollar stores.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, so there's a dollar store there. So we went in. Everybody had to buy something to wear on your head. Didn't specify it had to be a hat, but it had to be wearable on your head. So it's $1, no big deal, right? Everybody went in and bought, something to wear on their head, whether it was a wig or a hat, or I had a plastic bucket on my head, So we had to have that for the ride down.
I like that.
Just something little, something goofy like that.
But then we brought that back this year when we went
Little
to Idaho.
twist.
Little twist.
And only a couple of us remembered that it didn't need to be a hat.
Well,
It just had to be something you could wear on your head.
that's why I always give them, like at practice sometimes, to make them listen really intently. I'll say, okay, I'm going to give you the instructions, and then you're only allowed 5 questions.
Mhm.
So
As
you
a
have-
team or per person?
as
As a team.
So it's amazing how much more intense they are in the listening department. So I didn't say that during our thing. I said, for $5, you have a $5 limit, and I'll pay for all of it. Go get something that you can wear on your head. But I also made them pick out of a hat, and they had out of this hat, actually. They had to go and get for somebody else. So they had to pick a name out. When I got one's killer, which was awesome.
Oh, she
It was
loved
I
that.
still have it. It's a huge paper mache white wreath. And so she had to wear that on her head. One girl she got a I got a bald cap.
I got a pair of shorts for somebody.
Yeah, she got a pair of shorts. Just all random. One girl had a cop hat. Just random things. And they also had to wear it to the luau this year.
With their Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. They're Hawaiian. so it's
their
just,
Hawaiian shirts and the goofy hat. And
And Killer had a special outfit because she left her boots at practice.
that's right. So
Or sorry, left them at a game. So the
Yes.
girls, they
They rated
had all-
my gold stuff in my closet, so I had like a pair of gold glasses she liked, and a gold Tina Turner glitter wig, and beads that I don't know where I got those from some rugby tournament. I don't know what I did to earn those. But they're like, oh, we didn't even think to ask Coach Shannon. I'm like, you guys, every time we go to Montana for MegaFest, we wear costumes. We play in our costumes. So yes, I have costume-related stuff everywhere. That's why I started making these. So this is my Lady Liberty appropriate hat, but then I also have one that I wear to MLR games.
Yeah.
And that one's a little different because it also has ones that have like, don't be a Dustin, I think, because he was all butthurt at Maggot Fest because this should be a serious tournament. It's like, it's a social beer drink. We drink beers during the game. And so we made a button with his face on it. And so there's just a couple that, are,
Best challenge coin ever. Oh my God.
So we have just random stuff. So there's all sorts of them. And there's pins from everywhere. I even have one of his favorite teams on there. But whatever. Yeah, as a pin.
I mean, the
that
last two-time World Cup winners? What?
Not New Zealand, right?
No, I don't think
Wow,
it was.
why both gotta be such dicks? Whatever. Back this, boys.
Or four-letter words.
Yep.
We talked about those.
Yep. Right. No.
But, yeah, it's
Boring.
just some of the stuff is fun. I've had a blast making these. There's, in case you need to tape your cleats, there's also a cleat wrench over here. There's also a ball pump needle over here.
Right there, yeah.
There's an extra mouth guard right here. This mouth guard right here is the first mouth guard I ever owned. No, my mouth was never that small. I've always kept my mouth guard in my pocket. Well, the landlord of my apartment, my dryer went out. And I didn't even think about it, so I left it in there. And this one had a lot more heat to it. So yeah, it melted it into that. But I've always kept it. So there's all sorts of fun little things on here too. But we also have, like with our team, we have Croc Nation Mag. And so on the back, I think, that's our gibbets for our Crocs. That's our new pin that he designed for the Lady Liberty. I also put some horns on here. These are just rugby cleats.
This is truly the Batman utility belt of rugby.
Yeah, and this here, in 2023, the girls gave me a vase with a whole bunch of blue flowers in it and rugby, those like silicone bracelets. And so I cut one off and I put it on here just to let them know that our 2023 year, when we really became the team that we are now, it's always going to be on here. So, yeah.
Compass to remind you where north is.
Yeah, this is so I know the difference between north and south. There we go. That's all I'll say about that. And this is the ribbon that I made for our girls too. It's got Lady Liberty with our logo on it as well.
I like that.
I always like making little things that can surprise them, but the Croc Nation bag is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because you can't give a beer to another high school player, but you can dig into my bag, and I mean, there's little duckies, there's headlights, there's everything, whatever kind of gibbet you can have for Crocs, it's in there. There's even some, I think there's a couple South Africa flags. All the New Zealand ones are gone because I took them for myself, so all the All Black ones are not in
We
there.
didn't need to handle that.
No, I'll give it
Yeah,
away.
nobody
You should
wants
like it.
those, huh?
But yeah, but they enjoy it too because they know they can't look in the bag. They're only allowed to reach in
Fair.
and pull out. Whatever you get is what you get.
Yeah.
So, but it's always fun. I think it's kind of fun to watch them go over and tell the person why they're getting it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it too. Why the girls got the Spirit Award in last year. They got the first ever Rugby Washington Spirit Award for the girls program, but they do so much for other people, and they really do care about each other.
That's one of the things I love about our team, especially the current group of girls we have, is that they just love helping. They love doing things. Girls we've had for the last few years, it's like water break, happens and they're running water out to the other team because they didn't have water with them, or their water person wasn't on the spot, right? So, and just taking care of the other team as much as they would take care of themselves.
True sportsmanship.
Oh, we gave out the first ever Golden Water Girl Award last year too, because one of our girls said jokingly to her friend, who is our water girl because she plays U15s, she's like, "You suck as a water girl," just joking with her. So at banquet, I gave our water girl a gold bedazzled R Us water bottle that also has a gold chain that she can wear around her neck. So
She
and
was required to have it on her at all times in Idaho.
yeah, and she failed a couple times, so we got her for that. That was like her ultimate gizmo, but she deserved it. And it is not easy being the water person on a rugby team to stay there and focus and get out there, because now coaches are, well, a couple of years ago, but they're finally implementing it. Yeah, rule lady here. Coaches cannot take water out to the players. It is only players or somebody else that's doing it. But yet, coaches can't go out there. Coaches can't go out there at any time during, and they go out at halftime, but they can't even go out and talk to their team in the tri-zone. It's just the way it is. And I know that certain former referees don't call it the tri-zone anymore, but that's what I'm calling it because I'm old.
With the exception to injuries, right? If
Oh.
the ref tells you. No?
If the ref demands you come out there, that's different. But you can't just go out there. Yeah, that's why you have to ask. But I also played when the try was 4 points, so whatever.
Touche. Well, any other stories you got about gizmos or challenge coins?
No.
We haven't been able to have the experience with the challenge coins yet.
Yeah, see, I haven't either. One of mine was given to me by Sean down in San Diego. He's part of the cohort.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me in the idea that he forewarned me, and I should be carrying it on me. Man, after this, I'm probably just going to have to. But it's kind of one of these where you go up and you start ordering drinks, and you're buying around for everybody. And challenge coin check, and you don't have your check. Guess who gets stuck with the bill is the guy who doesn't have his challenge coin. So, hey, good reason. I mean, that could save you a couple $100 in a situation.
Military and firefighters use that as well.
Yeah,
I can't speak for.
I got a guy that we might be able to get some
that could
bulk
be
and
Keep you updated.
not
Yeah.
very expensive. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, it's like challenge coin, not challenge coin, but adult thing that girls don't know. There was many years ago, Tacoma Rugby Club had not paid their dues yet to be able to vote in the AGM for Pinarfield, which is now PNW Rugby. And so they're like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, I'm unemployed. I don't have anything, but as long as you guys pay me back tomorrow, I'll do this. And I want a certificate for free beer for life while I'm in Tacoma. I still have that certificate, and I laminated it.
Well done.
And I use it every time I go. It's actually in my wallet right now.
You should take a picture of it so it's on your phone.
Oh, no, I don't need to. No. Very funny, though. Nice try. No, but because the one guy who signed it keeps going, can I look at that?
You
I
can
might be.
look, you
I'm
cannot touch.
not as long as I am. I'm not
I'll send you a picture.
There you go.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll send it to you on Messenger so I don't have your number. How about that?
Exactly.
Even better. Well, that was fun. Thank you for sharing these stories. These are just the bonding moments that we all get with this sport community. Makes us just
So
love
we're
it more
spending
and
the night so we can do the next part, right?
more. Right. Everybody forgot their challenge coin. They just got a drink.
But I got mine.
Darn, guess I can't drive home.
I don't have to pay the bill.
That's why you rode with me.
There it is.
I love it. Well, thank you for watching. Share, like, subscribe. Get it out to your friends. It doesn't cost anything. Appreciate it.